out here in Montana?
It's a little different from the city. I tell you what, you can come out here and you can play, and you can work in the same place.
You have to enjoy nature and love the beauty of the land.
Hello, I'm Wayne Hubbard, and today on the Urban American Outdoor Show, we're in Missoula, Montana. You guys asked me about the Forest Service, so you know what? I'm going to take you there. So I want you to sit back and relax. I'm Wayne Hubbard, and this is the Urban American Outdoor Show. If you're interested in an opportunity, if you love the outdoors, here's a place where you can work and you can have fun.
So this is the historic 9 Mile Ranger Station. It was a remount station actually established in 1930 to be a place where the Forest Service would buy horses and mules, train them, and then send them out with the young rangers across the northern region so that they had their stock. Many of the first rangers who started with the Forest Service were to bring their own horses, saddles, and equipment when they were hired.
This region was Region 1.
That's right. We're the very first region in the U.S. Forest Service, established in 1905 with the establishment of the Forest Reserves Act. Teddy Roosevelt established the Forest Service. But there were certain places that Gifford Pinchot and John Muir each wanted to establish. John Muir was very much interested in preservation of the natural resources. Gifford Pinchot had a little bit different idea about what national forests could do and what they meant to the American people. He was a German-trained forester from a very wealthy family back east. And so when he convinced Teddy Roosevelt to develop the Forest Service, not with a lot of help from Congress, the parks for preservation, preserving those places to stay the same so future generations can see like the Yellowstone geysers. But national forests were a little different. So they were for conservation of resources for uses. And keep in mind, as we went into World War I and World War II, the need for wood, the need for beef, All of those resources became very, very important, and a lot of those came off of National Forest lands. This site was actually built by the Civilian Conservation Corps. It was 1930s. Pinchot had this idea that there are all these natural resources out there that people could enjoy if campgrounds were built, if ranger stations, different facilities were out there for people to do it, especially roads, because the automobile was just coming into use.
Oh, okay.
They went out all day, often more than one day, but they went out all day and built trails, built the roads, and then would come back into their bunkhouse and their food. I think they were paid, it was about $1 a day back then.
But that was good.
That was, any wage was a good wage back then. About 1910, there was a huge fire that ravaged most of Idaho and parts of western Montana. And the question was, how do we replant all about 3 million acres?
Oh my, it was that big.
It was that big. It was probably the largest fire that changed the face of conservation in this country.
I was just excited to hear how not only is the Forest Service with the history, but what's going on today. How, really using science and just everything that you guys are doing to make this incredible.
So the Forest Service is very much a science-based organization. We have 3 parts to our organization. One are those national forests, the National Forest System. Another one happens to be research. We do our own research and development along with universities nationwide, looking at agriculture research. We look at forest sciences research, wildlife preservation and conservation. We also look at pest and insect disease. And that research gets used all around the world. So another part of our organization is state and private forestry. And state and private forestry also works internationally. So in countries like Peru, Brazil, Russia, we actually work with those countries to help develop tourism, their economic resources, and their agricultural resources.
What's the mission? What's the goal?
So, we have a pretty simple mission, and that is to restore the health and diversity of the national forests and to keep them in a state where, quite frankly, they can provide long-term resources for the American people. I give a lot of credit to the visionaries who looked ahead and said, what could we do with these lands that have not yet been settled? And should they all become private lands? Should they all become mining and ranching? And don't get me wrong, these lands are still used for mining, ranches, at least grazing, but then looking at, so what would be the public gain from those as well? About 80% of the clean water in this country in major cities come off of national forests.
That's amazing.
There's 193 million acres of national forests in the United States.
My goodness. My experience with everyone with the Forest Service has been, hey, this is awesome. And I it's amazing to see the passion that we have. And I was like, how'd you get that to work? I mean, because everyone has that same, we're working on something that's bigger than us that I've noticed and stuff. So I just wanted to ask a little bit about that.
Every company, be it a government agency or a store, has to struggle with problems every day, You try to serve multiple customers, you try to meet their needs. The Forest Service is no different. But I think one of the things that makes us different is that mission, that dedication to that mission, that I know what I did for 30 years of my career has, outlasts me, serves a greater good. And in addition to that, when you have a really bad day, and especially if you work at the Ranger District, you can always go, I think I'll go to the field today. And who could beat that office? There's been many a days that I felt that I should have paid the American people to come here.
And folks, like always, we only do it one way. That's Urban American style. I'm in Montana, Missoula, having a great time. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. we're watching out for those Sasquatches. Because I always tell you, if you see me and a Sasquatch, help the Squatch. Because I'm a mauling. When you saw Shrek, this is Donkey right here.
It's actually a mule.
Yeah, that's okay. He got those big ears. You know, Donkey was a hybrid.
Well, the 9 Mile facility houses a working ranger district, and so we have a recreation program, trails program, we have a timber shop, we have a full fire and fuels crew. 9 Mile is a little different than some of the other Forest Service facilities in that we also house the Northern Region Pack Train, which does backcountry work projects throughout the region. We also have a working ranch here, which is also pretty unique in the Forest Service. So a lot of the regional stock, Forest Service stock and mules that are used for recreation, trails, wilderness, range, law enforcement, come here in the winter, and we care for them here and feed them here. Another thing that makes 9 Mile kind of unique is that we have the 9 Mile Wildlands Training Center, where we teach traditional skills both to agency personnel and the public as well.
I'm the forest supervisor, and basically I'm responsible for the programs and the things that happen on about 2 million acres of national forest system. And within the districts and our supervisor's office, there's just a myriad of different jobs and different things that people do for the Forest Service. I love what I do because of the diversity of the work. Every day is different. You can be doing anything from getting ready to go on a week-long pack trip out in the mountains, to skiing, to doing stand exams on forested lands, to working with people in recreation areas. It's just every day is something different.
I'm the frontline contact for the public if they have issues or needs in this section of National Forest. We still provide pack support for a lot of the neighboring forests in the Region 1 area. So what that means is we provide that expertise in the stock handling and the purchasing and the ability to go out in the backcountry and reach those areas that are very remote that may require technical packing in order to do it safely. What charges me to go to work every day is the fact that, you know, I'm going in and helping manage something that everybody in the United States has free rein to, which is, you think about it, it's so unique. How many other countries have the ability to go in and you can go out on a piece of huge landscape like this without asking permission from anybody? And it's impressive. And I don't think people really put the context to that sometimes.
Our job's important because there's so much wilderness area and backcountry, meaning that very primitive areas in this nation that is not accessible by vehicle, by gas, by airplane. And people recreate in these areas, in these wilderness areas, clearing trail, building bridges, puncheons. We're here to help support those districts that cannot do that or do not have stock programs, and to maintain a recreational opportunity for the folks all over the nation. My best experience packing ever to this point is on my old district in Lincoln, which is on the Helena National Forest. I was packing in a trail crew, and I was up on the Continental Divide. And it was a summer day, and it was just right then, I was just first starting out packing. And once I knew, I got up there and I did it by myself. I was 19 years old. I had all the mules and horses and everything, and I said, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life.
It was awesome.
It was just, it was awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Learn from the old people who have done it. I was fortunate enough to have mentors that have done this for years, and the first thing I did is go after them and ask them questions and get as much knowledge on packing as I possibly could. They taught me everything from how to mani to saddle to actually how the hierarchy of the pack train goes through the woods. And I just pursue that, and if you have a passion for it, go after it and just learn as much as you can about it and do it, actually do it. And the importance of doing this and keeping stock programs and the winter range programs here at 9 Mile and in the Forest Service is huge for seasonal employees and the public and the recreation. And it's a vital entity to support backcountry and wilderness areas, and to keep them thriving and moving throughout the future. The skills that we acquire and what we have acquired over the years are steadily declining, and it's a good way to get it out to the public and our youth and the children, and even grown-ups. So many grown-ups don't know what even a mule is. And what we do, that's the message. That's the message I like to get out there, is keep people informed with the woods and in the backcountry, and make sure that they don't lose that connectivity between recreation and what goes on in the work.
People try to say that it's passed on, with family generations, which I don't totally think is correct. I think it's a learned thing. You have to learn it just like anything else. So the interest has got to be there, but a lot of the interest isn't there because the opportunity is not there. So, like in the Forest Service, they have some horsemanship as part of their safety training, and I'm just trying to further that. I'm trying to make it more in depth. If you really want to be a horseman, you have to get that involved. You have to get passionate about it, and that's what makes you pay attention to the small details. I don't want it to be just a horsemanship class that, it's all mechanics. You come in and we need to get you to, from A to Z. I want people to walk out and literally know what they're doing because they're feeling it, they're understanding it, being able to take that angle, I guess.
Well, I did grow up in a very urban area, and I always really enjoyed being outdoors and floating down rivers and hiking and camping. And when I realized that I could actually live that and have a career doing that, it was really intriguing to me. It was a pretty big leap of faith moving away from the city, and I went by myself when I was 19 years old. And I drove myself up to Lake Tahoe and lived in a barracks with a bunch of other employees and fought fire for my first summer. And I can just say it was one of the most exciting, probably terrifying things that I ever did. But after that first season, I was hooked. I knew that that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. That I could again live out in the country, live in a rural area, experience all those things I loved to do when I was a kid, and now I take my vacations in big cities.
It's in reverse.
Right.
I've been with the Forest Service over 15 years now, and I enjoy my job because I can get out in the outdoors, and the things I've been able to see throughout my career are incredible. I've seen herds of elk, I've seen incredible country, incredible mountains, high mountain lakes. I've seen, sheep just running full bore down rocky faces, that kind of thing. So I've been able to experience all that in the backcountry firsthand. It's also a really meaningful job because we are charged with doing conservation work on these public lands. I feel like I'm really contributing to that. And also, another great thing about it is that we get to interact with the public and also facilitate people going outside into the public lands and experiencing the lands that we have here in this country. We're so lucky to have. They can get out on the trails, they can go out fishing, they can go hunting, and I can help facilitate that as part of my job. I think that it's important that people get out and experience their public lands and experience the natural world and all that it has to offer.
What to do and what not to do in the Forest Service. What not to do, don't be crazy out here. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Look at him. You got the donkey. Donkey even laughing. He happy. The donkey happy. But you know, folks, what I'm really excited about is there's all these opportunities. And that's how I met Bob. We were talking about an opportunity that they had with the Forest Service. And so what's going on with that?
Well, the Forest Service, like anything else outside, it's seasonal work. Mm-hmm. We have about 2,600 full-time employees that are year-round. And then we have approximately another 1,000 part-time employees just for summer work. And that ranges anything from working out in the forests, working in offices. We're not just about firefighting.
You guys do everything. There's jobs for every position, from working on a computer to websites to scientists and, you know, research.
Acquisition, budget management, finance, administration. I mean, everything that has to happen in a normal business and organization has to happen in the Forest Service.
I've been with the Forest Service about 2 years. You know, I've met a lot of great people, seen a lot of different things that I don't know if I would actually have seen in the private sector. Been able to acquire a lot of skills that will serve me. Being in Montana, Missoula specifically, you know, there's not a lot of diversity. It's getting better, but there's still not a lot. And especially as it relates to the Forest Service, you know, I think I bring a fresh, different perspective, you know, from where I'm from to what we're doing here in the Forest Service. My biggest thing was say, hey, you know, be open. Be open to try different things. That was my biggest thing. I don't know if I was very open to it until the opportunity was presented to me and put on my plate. And so I said, hey, you know what, why not? It's something different. I'm gonna try it. Never done it before and worked out great.
Now, if there's some young lady or some young man that's interested in joining the Forest Service, what would you tell them?
It would be a great decision. You'd have to be willing to come to some of these remote areas and just, I mean, you have to enjoy nature and love the beauty of the land. And once, you know, it was a big step for me at first too, because who would ever thought it, but it's been the best step that I've made, because where else could I see bears and elk and wolves and all those good things?
See, that's what I'm talking about. One of the most important things here on Every American Outdoors is showing you opportunities, not only just talking about hunting and fishing in the outdoors, but I know a lot of you are talking about, hey, there's jobs. What about the jobs? What about, here's a way that you can have a job that can also have recreation that you're right in the middle of. Knowing that you're from the city, Kansas City, you know, brother looking good.
You know, it's a little different from the city. I tell you what, it's slow motion, you know, slow pace, but wide open spaces, you know, beautiful, as you can see. And it's a situation where if you like to be outdoors, perfect place. I'd say, you know, really, really research us, you know. Look at Montana, look at Idaho, look at North Dakota. And if you enjoy the outdoors, hey, look at the activities and what you can do. Because you can come out here and you can play and you can work in the same place.
You see this right here? GQ. Well, Bob, you know, enjoying being out here with you and being with the Forest Service like you are and dealing with civil rights, what's one of the hardest things with getting multicultural people involved in the forest?
It's getting people to even know it's out here. You know, America has huge amounts of forest lands, and there's all kinds of opportunities to be able to come out, have good paying jobs, being able to work in these more rural communities, and be able to enjoy the forests. I mean, the Forest Service gives you a true opportunity to live, work, and play out in the natural environment.
Man, that's exciting. I'm just excited to be working with you guys. The important thing for me is getting more people involved. So, you know, I tell you what, I'm enjoying this. We're going to keep on walking. Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. We had a great time bringing it to you. And like always, we do it only one way, Urban American style. And so until next time, I'm Wayne Hubbard. You guys have a great one out there.